Welcome back to the SSL Family Dad channel. Today we are going to be in the indoor garden. We're in the atrium here on the 70s homestead. I'll give you guys an update on the grow wall behind me. We'll check that out, see how it's been doing, see some of the challenges that we've had. Some new things that we're going to try this winter to see if we can get some things to grow a little better in here. So let's check out the grow wall and see what's been going on. Last year I installed this Worth brand grow wall. These, if you watch that video, this is basically all mounted to a couple pieces of 1/4-inch plywood. It's all mounted into studs on the wall, and these come in groups of 3. So this set of 3 right here is just one pocket, and they all link together. And basically you water them at the top, and the water cascades down through all of these and fills up the bottom of each pot. And then that water kind of soaks into the soil. So there's like a little gap at the bottom of each one of those pots that holds a little water. Then eventually it makes it down to the bottom. I have a little gutter along the bottom, and then I have another little pump in there that pumps it back into the main bucket, and then that cycles it back up to the top again. The watering system has been working okay, but there's definitely some issues. So in this corner, I have this 5-gallon bucket that I just keep full of water. This is actually a lot of fish tank clean out water. That's why it's that color, which has a lot of nutrients in it. But the way I have this set up is just with what it came with, which is this real small 1/4-inch tubing. And this goes all the way up to the top and then splits out in 4 different spots to water it at the top. And I have this bigger submersible pump in there, and it's throttled way down to that little 1/4-inch tubing. And it pumps the water up there just fine, but the volume is not enough. So what ends up happening is I get a lot more water in the first set of pockets, a little bit less there, a little bit less there, than barely any there. And so I've tried to put paper clips and things on the tubing to like throttle it down here to force more water down the line. And the bottom line is it just takes too long to water this whole thing because of that 1/4-inch tubing. It's just too small. And we have this little pallet area here. This just separates out our little kitty area, little litter box. So that 5-gallon bucket's right over there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna do that today, but one of the problems I need to solve is I'm gonna put some larger tubing in there. And what I think I'm gonna do is split it right at the bottom into 4 tubes and run 4 separate tubes up there, and then have them all go into the 4 separate spots. There's one there, one there, one there, and one there. That each one of these 3 has a water spot. So that's one thing I need to solve, although that's not the biggest problem. The biggest problem has been light, and you'll notice that this section here is the only section that's really stayed growing. And what I did earlier this year was I installed these LED light strips right to the back of these, just in that area, in that section. There wasn't actually anything growing up on the top layer. But you can see that all this stuff just started growing really, really well versus the stuff down here. I mean, this is the same plant. So this one down here, these were not there yet. This plant down here, just with the regular filtered sunlight coming through the trees and in the winter time, versus this up here, which just started growing so much better. It's been about a month that the LED lights have been in here, or maybe a little longer. And this Swiss chard and everything's doing really well. So I know one of my biggest problems was light. And you can see that the light made all the difference. As long as I kept this stuff watered, which I did kill off some stuff with not watering it very well. But this was a tomato plant that I just brought in from outside, and it's already started to flower, and hopefully we'll set some fruit here. And you can see that this is, greened up, and it seems to be doing fairly well up here growing in towards the light. It kind of wrapped around and grew in. And so that just tells me that the light coming through the windows behind me, you can see the sun, kind of comes in here, but it gets blocked by a lot of things. It's blocked by some of the trees, and we only get a little sunshine in here, and then some that filters in through this area. It's not very long. So lighting is definitely one of my biggest issues. And so what I'm gonna try is these are Barrina brand stand lights. And I have 2 of them that are gonna face at this bottom section. And so we're gonna replant out this whole bottom section today. We'll also replant out the top section here with these lights. I'm gonna leave the top of it blank for right now. And I'm gonna see how well these lights do. These are about 4 feet tall, these stand lights, and these are great even for your trees and things like that if you bring them in. I might get a couple more of them to set You know, you could put one at the side of these trees like this and spin the tree around to give you some backlight on your plants, your indoor plants. But these are a full spectrum grow light, so they have the full spectrum of light that's needed for fruiting plants like a tomato here, and then your regular leafy greens like a Swiss chard, or your herbs and other types of things, kale, that kind of stuff, leafy greens. So this will handle both. It gives you that full spectrum of light, which is great. So with these two bar lights here, these Barrina bar lights, this should cover this whole area. So we're going to see how well it does, see if we need to add a third one. And then I could devise a way. These actually, they come with these little hooks on them, little hangers, so you can put a spot right here, and then there's a spot that's lower, and they actually have a little floor switch, which is nice. So you can turn them on and off just by stepping on it. But I could also hang these horizontally, so maybe I could put some little arms that came off there, and then I could hang a couple that points at this area on the top. And so I really want to produce some food on this wall throughout the year, and I think the lighting is going to be one of my biggest struggles. So I also have this little setup over here. Now this is a let pot. I'm not sure if this made it or not. This was something that I did a little bit of a review on a couple years ago, and it comes with this pump and automatic watering system. It pumps water into the top, and it keeps the water level there, and then it goes down to the bottom, keeps water. So each one of these pots, you know, lifts out, but there's water in the bottom to help keep everything watered all the time. I've never had great luck growing in here either. Stuff will grow usually for a little while, then it dies off, and it's because of light. I'm just not getting enough light in here. So we're gonna try one of these out. This is another Barrina brand grow light, and actually if you stick around to the end of the video, you can enter a chance to win a couple of these. I'm going to give away a few of these little lights. So these are just real small LED grow lights. This is a 5-watt power consumption. This is a full spectrum grow light as well. And these actually you can link together. So you can power it on one end with the power cord, and then you can use these connecting cables to connect multiple of these together. And so ideally, I think I'll have 2 of these on that little let pot system, you know, just kind of sitting above each one of those tiers, and those will be linked together. But we're going to start with one of them on the top tier, and then I'll plant out both of them, and we'll see what kind of growth difference we get between the two. There are so many challenges with growing indoors. Lighting is one of them. In the summertime, there's trees that have leaves on them, and we don't get a lot of sunlight in this area. And so growing in here in the summertime is kind of hard. So we move everything outside. Things do really well out there. Then we move it back in the winter, and then things slow way down. But there's lots of other factors. There's temperature, there's the humidity in the air is different. It's very dry in our house in the wintertime. The soil, you know, nutrients, there's lots of different, you know, nutrient deficiencies to look for. Acidity, pH of the water, you know, the pH of the water. Tomatoes are going to like different than your lettuces maybe would, or green beans or other things. And so growing on this wall behind me, you know, it's the same water and the same real soil for all of it. They're all sharing that. And so you have to find kind of a balance between everything to get things to grow just right. So it takes a little bit of wiggling around and figuring things out. Let's get this planted out. And so over the next couple months, we're going to see how big of a difference the lighting will make. So I have a new partnership with SoRite, and we're going to be doing some different grow videos this winter with using a lot of our SoRite non-GMO seeds. We're going to be doing some microgreens on our grow shelf. We'll do a separate video on that. And then today we're going to be planting out some of our leafy greens, and I might do a couple beans and see how they grow in here as well. Let's try to get some lettuce growing in here. I'm not going to grow head lettuce in there. And I guess we could try as a different kind of kale. It'd be cool to have some color in here. Let's try some beans, and we'll do a little bit of these herbs. Spinach grows pretty tall, but that's all right. Pak choy, and I don't know what this is, but let's try it. I think this will be perfect. Maybe I'll make a little stand for one here, and then for one over the lower level. I think it'll be able to move it up with the growth of the plants. This little let pot system is on a Bluetooth timer, and so you can log onto it with an app and control it. But every day, a couple times a day, it cycles water through the system. So what I've been doing for both of these systems, for adding to the water that goes through the Worth garden wall, or the water that's in this this bucket here, and this is again where this is the little let pot system, is every once in a while I'll just add a little bit of this this organic liquid fertilizer. This stuff isn't a good source of nitrogen, but it's good for our flowering type plants, and so this will add a little bit of phosphate and potassium. And then I don't have any more of it right now, but I have another liquid fertilizer that I'll add to the water. So I just put a cap full in the water there, put a cap full of water here, and it cycles through. I can't use any kind of powdered fertilizer because of this little animal here. This girl right here loves the smell of organic fertilizers, and she will go around to all my potted plants and try to eat all of the fertilizer out of the plants. So I have to use liquid. All right, it's all planted out. So we'll just put these stand lights in front of the system here. And I think that provides a pretty good spread to that bottom section, that whole section there. So we'll see how things grow. What I tried to do was just a row of all the same things. So we've got beans, we've got basil and oregano and all that kind of stuff, lettuces and kales and everything. So I did rows at a time. Another thing that I hope to use this for is for cloning. So see, my tomato plant has a sucker. So anytime you have a plant that's growing from the little elbow of a branch. So we have a branch here and the main stem here. This is actually its own tomato plant. So if we cut this off right here, and I just kind of rough the stem up and then stick that in some wet soil, as long as it stays wet enough, that will root and it will create another tomato plant. And then I can just continue to do that. If we've got another little one growing in here, once that one gets a little bigger, I can cut that off and keep propagating, so I can have more and more tomato plants, and then by the time gardening season comes, I can move these outside and we'll have quite a few ready. If you would like to win yourself one of the small Barrina grow lights, I have a couple to give away, and we'll mail those out to you. There will be a link in the description, so you have to check the description of the video. You check out their website, check out their stuff, and there'll be a link in the description to enter a free giveaway. Basically, in a few weeks, we'll just do a random drawing. We'll pick a couple winners, and we'll send you out your new grow light. What I will probably do is I will probably do some YouTube shorts on updates for this, so look for those. I'll just do a couple quick videos. Those are great little 30-second, 60-second just updates on the Worth gardening wall, and see how these new Barrina LED grow lights work for this wall. See how well things sprout and grow, so you can keep up to date on those things. I hope it does better than it did last year. Last year things grew and then they kind of died off, or they grew really slow, or they just didn't look very healthy, and then over the summertime a lot of the stuff died off because I didn't really pay too much attention to it. Let me know what you guys think. You think these stand lights will solve the problem? I think things will grow a little better. Any advice, any thoughts from you expert gardeners out there? I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to hit thumbs up on today's video. Of course, subscribe, tag along for updates on these kinds of things. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.